Two tropical storms didn't even make landfall, and they still triggered floods severe enough to run yachts aground and knock a hospital onto backup power. Then, on the other side of the country, a woman was electrocuted in her own home as water surged through the streets of Acapulco. The Mexican military has now deployed its highest-level disaster protocol. Here's what's unfolding on both coasts. Two tropical storms didn't even make landfall, and they still triggered floods severe enough to run yachts aground and knock a hospital onto backup power. Then, on the other side of the country, a woman was electrocuted in her own home as water surged through the streets of Acapulco. The Mexican military has now deployed its highest-level disaster protocol. Here's what's unfolding on both coasts. The flash floods and accompanying winds dealt a severe blow to local infrastructure. In La Paz, power supply instability briefly crippled municipal sectors, forcing critical medical facilities to shift immediately to emergency protocols. The La Paz Psychiatric Hospital completely lost access to the main electrical grid, operating for a prolonged period strictly on emergency backup diesel generators to protect patient welfare. Meanwhile, at the regional ISSTE hospital, heavy winds shattered multiple windows, and a ruptured pipe compromised the facility's centralized cooling system. Maintenance crews worked through the night to patch the infrastructure, as functional climate control remains essential for patient safety amid the region's summer heat.
Así que bueno, las personas que van a circular, a andar en las calles, pues tome sus precauciones, maneje con cuidado y si es posible, pues ponga intermitentes. Miren, esta es la culebra, es de gran tamaño. Está una parte es aquí, la otra abajo de este.
The southern half of the peninsula bore the brunt of the immediate coastal storm dynamics earlier in the week, with residual flooding still choking urban channels as of August 25th. A sudden, violent coastal storm swept through the municipalities of La Paz and Los Cabos, catching several local operations off guard along the scenic shores of La Paz. Strong squalls and rapid water accumulation caused immediate chaos for local mariners. At least 12 vessels, including private sailboats and luxury yachts, were ripped from their moorings and ran aground along the shallow coastal shelf. Emergency maritime crews worked around the clock, using specialized tugs to free the stranded craft. 6 vessels were safely refloated by early Tuesday, while several others remained heavily lodged in sand and debris, causing severe economic strain for local tourism operators.
Está horrible, horrible.
Sí, esto está horrible.
Lo bueno que le dimos por el túnel, ¿verdad?
Muy buenas tardes a todos.
Simultaneously, meteorologists at the US National Hurricane Center, NHC, have been tracking a tropical traffic jam in the eastern Pacific. On Monday and Tuesday, Tropical Storm Iselle hovered hundreds of miles west-southwest of Cabo San Lucas. Though Iselle has begun curving away from land, its massive wind field has generated heavy ocean swells and funneled moist air inland. Adding to the complexity, newly formed Tropical Storm Julio developed early on August 25th, approximately 1,085 kilometers southwest of the peninsula. While neither storm is projected to make direct landfall, their combined presence has trapped a dense corridor of unstable tropical air over Baja California, producing localized but catastrophic rainfall, with some municipal zones recording between 25 and 75 millimeters of rain in a matter of hours, far exceeding historical averages for August.
Venir. Pues solo que vengan en helicóptero. Nada más chequen allá al fondo. Al fondo. Los carros.
The resulting flash floods have transformed busy avenues into raging rivers, stranded maritime vessels, knocked out localized power grids, and triggered mudslides along critical highway systems. According to updates from the National Water Commission, Canagua, the northwest region of Mexico is experiencing an exceptionally intense phase of the Mexican monsoon, heavily reinforced by mid- and upper-level cyclonic circulations over the mainland and the Gulf of California.
¿A poco también aquello?
Esa es la corriente, ¿verdad?
No, es que se cayó.
Como estaba dentro de la tienda, cuando salí ya estaba pasando casi la lluvia.
Cuando llegó el carro ya estaba aquí atravesado. Uno piensa que no le va a pasar. Bueno, fue el que puso que tiene cámara y ya me bloqueó, vaya a ver allá afuera de aquí. Está la pena, ¿eh?
A powerful combination of extreme weather systems, driven by a highly active Mexican monsoon, localized cyclonic circulations, and volatile atmospheric moisture from a supercharged Pacific El Niño season, has unleashed severe flooding across the Baja California peninsula. Over the past week, culminating in significant localized disasters leading up to Tuesday, August 25th, communities from the mountainous northern corridors near Tijuana down to the coastal tourist havens of Los Cabos have been forced into emergency response mode. Mexico's National Meteorological Service, SMN, and local civil protection authorities reported that while offshore tropical threats like Tropical Storm Iselle and Tropical Storm Julio are tracking well out to sea, their peripheral bands and subsurface energy are interacting violently with low-pressure troughs, sparking intense, sudden downpours.